Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. The successive downfall of senior figures within the Central Military Commission of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, coupled with the military newspaper repeatedly publishing articles emphasizing resolute support, while Zhang Youxia's characterization shifted abruptly from the grave accusation of seriously trampling on the chairman of the Central Military Commission's responsibility system to milder phrasing, such as living in Shenzhen and reflecting the party's care. At the same time, a real name report against Xi Jinping appeared on the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection website, and someone publicly left a message on the State Council website stating, "General Secretary, step down." The emergence of military unrest and the collapse of public sentiment occurring simultaneously may represent the scenario that most alarms the CCP and Xi Jinping. If you're also following this topic, please click subscribe and turn on the bell icon to select all notifications so you don't miss future episodes. Today's news can be regarded as yet another glaring image of the collapse of the power structure within the CCP's military. On February 6th, Xi Jinping, as usual, attended the Central Military Commission. This was originally a routine political show, but this year's scene was exceptionally desolate, with only CMC Vice Chairman Zhang accompanying him. A comparison with the past 2 years reveals just how unusual this is. In 2024, the same event saw Zhang Youxia, He Weidong, Lu Zhenli, Miao Hua, and Zhang Shengmin accompanying Xi. In 2025, although Li Shangfu and Miao Hua had fallen, there were still at least Zhang Youxia, He Weidong, Lu Zhenli, and Zhang Shengmin, 4 individuals. This year, only Zhang Shengmin remains as the lone figure. The current 7-member CMC inner circle has been almost completely cleared out. On January 24th, CMC Vice Chairman Zhang Youxia and CMC member Lu Zhenli were both announced to have fallen on the same day, leaving the entire CMC with only Xi Jinping and Zhang Shengmin still standing on stage. Netizens sarcastically remarked, "Zhang Shengmin sitting alone at a table. How frightening." Others said, "Once the birds are gone, the bow is hidden. Those left are not safe either." And some quipped, "Will Xi Jinping perform on stage himself in 2027? These mocking comments reflect external disdain for the massive purge in the CCP military. Even more noteworthy is that on February 2nd, Foreign Affairs published an article directly giving Xi Jinping a new nickname, Xi the Destroyer. The article bluntly stated that the CMC has been almost destroyed, an assessment that is far from exaggerated. At the annual Capital Military Political Symposium held on February 5th, no admirals, Shangjiang, were present on site, only 7 lieutenant generals and 13 major generals. For a regime that claims the party commands the gun, this appears highly abnormal. Reviewing the past 3 years, the list of fallen senior military figures is astonishingly long. Successive scandals in the rocket force and equipment systems. 2 consecutive defense ministers, Li Shangfu and Wei Fenghe, met their demise. Xi's close confidants such as Miao Hua and He Hongjun fell one after another. And then Zhang Youxia and Lu Zhenli were suddenly announced for investigation. The number of active duty admirals publicly investigated has reached 15, with another 20 admirals whose whereabouts are unknown. Currently, only 4 admirals remain in normal duty: Zhang Shengmin, Dong Jun, and the newly promoted Yang Zhibin and Han Xingyan. The entire CMC requires 5 replacements, with dozens of key military positions vacant, virtually entering a state of leadership vacuum. A purge of this scale is extremely rare in the history of the CCP since its founding. Ironically, many of the fallen generals were confidants personally promoted by Xi Jinping. Australian-based legal scholar Yuan Hongbing once revealed that Beijing official circles privately gave Xi a new nickname, Shangjiang Zhan, Admiral's Executioner, meaning he specializes in executing the generals he himself promoted. But the question remains, is this purge truly anti-corruption, or is it a power struggle? Is it rectifying military discipline, or is it causing military unrest? When senior military leaders frequently disappear, and the CMC chairman attends events with only one companion. The instability of power is already laid bare. The CCP has always proclaimed that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. But if the gun barrel itself is shaking, who can truly control the situation? Xi Jinping now bears not only the title of chief accelerator of the CCP's demise, but also the label of destroyer. When the apex of his power has been purged down to himself and one deputy, is this the peak of power or the beginning of isolation? When even the military is torn apart by internal consumption, infighting, and fear within the CCP, the risks ahead will only grow greater. Xi Jinping's strategy toward Zhang Youxia has reportedly undergone a major adjustment. On the 6th, former Chinese media figure Zhao Longyan posted on X platform, disclosing that important sources inside the wall have confirmed the real disposition of Zhang Youxia after his replacement. Zhao Longyan stated that on January 30th, the Politburo held a meeting. Before the meeting concluded, Xi Jinping explicitly mentioned the follow-up arrangements for Zhang Youxia in his speech. The principles conveyed at the meeting were: Comrade Zhang Youxia will live in Shenzhen in the near future. Comrades with personal relations and certain revolutionary friendship with Zhang Youxia, if wishing to visit, must report in advance to Kai Chi, and it was explicitly required that organizational arrangements reflect the party's tolerance and care, allowing him to complete political reflection and correction. On the same day, Zhang Youxia himself was clearly placed in Shenzhen, with his immediate family members not isolated, his daughter allowed to accompany him, and permission granted to organize and pack personal belongings. Zhang Youxia's only son, Colonel Zhang Shun of the Joint Logistics Support System, returned home to pack personal items accompanied by Zhang Xingmin's son Zhang Mao and the former head of Zhang Youxia's security team. Later that day, Zhang Shun and his mother took a train together, arriving in Guangzhou early the next morning, where they were received by Guangdong Provincial Party Secretary Huang Kunming and proceeded to Shenzhen together. Zhao Longyan believes that such arrangements within the system only occur in the political concluding phase after the power structure has been clarified and risk assessment completed, and not in scenarios of failed coup, emergency suppression, or security crisis. The use of socialized transportation means the incident has completely detached from any military context and entered a fully controllable political handling track. The direct intervention at the Guangdong Provincial Party Committee level indicates that the event has formally shifted from an internal military affair to a political aftermath phase dominated by local party and government systems. Zhao Longyan stated that in the follow-up arrangements for Zhang Youxia's family members, there is likewise no joint liability, purge, or punitive treatment. Zhang Shun had previously completed relevant review by the Military Discipline Inspection Commission and has now been transferred from his post in the Joint Logistics Support System to a position in the Guangzhou military region. This review concluded, post-adjustment approach clearly belongs within the system to decorization and cooling down arrangements, rather than punitive purge or security elimination, with the logical premise that the nature of the incident has been determined as political adjustment rather than a security event. According to independent commentator Kai Shinkuan's revelation, Zhang Youxia and 17 other senior generals were arrested on January 16th. On January 24th of the same month, CCP official media officially announced the investigation of Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli. Subsequently, large-scale military movements occurred across China. Videos frequently appeared of military vehicles, soldiers, and even missiles on the streets. The panic and turmoil within the military were evident. On the 25th, the military newspaper published an editorial using 5 serious qualifiers to characterize Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli, including severe political accusations such as seriously trampling on and destroying the chairman of the Central Military Commission's responsibility system. On January 31st, the military newspaper again published a front-page article, strongly emphasizing that investigating Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli is of great significance for eradicating the root sources of poisonous influence and calling on all officers and soldiers of the entire military to resolutely support the decisions of the Party Central Committee. External analysis holds that the need for continuous critical articles in the military newspaper days after the incident precisely reflects the reality of unstable military morale. At the same time, outsiders have long questioned whether Xi Jinping's arrest of Zhang Youxia was conducted without discussion and approval by the Politburo. Given Zhang Youxia's status as a Politburo member, this constitutes a procedural violation. However, at the Politburo meeting held on January 30th, half a month after Zhang Youxia's arrest, Xi Jinping failed to retroactively legitimize the arrest procedure. On February 1st, Shanghai industrialist Hu Liren, now residing in the United States, revealed that Zhang Youxia was being held in Guxian, Langfang, Hebei Province, about 1 hour's drive from Beijing. On February 2nd and 4th, Beijing authorities hastily convened 2 NPC meetings, one being the 59th meeting of the chairman of the 14th NPC Standing Committee and the other the 20th meeting of the NPC Standing Committee, but both failed to fulfill Xi Jinping's intention to retroactively legitimize Zhang Youxia's arrest. Subsequently, on February 3rd and 4th, Australia-based Jiang Wangzheng posted on X platform, stating that Zhang Youxia is under house arrest in Shenzhen, that Guangdong Provincial Party Secretary Huang Kunming invited Zhang Youxia to lunch, and that Xi Jinping still regards Zhang Youxia as comrade. Compared to the earlier severe accusations of rebellious disruption and the capital crime of seriously trampling on the chairman of the Central Military Commission's responsibility system, this represents a 90-degree turn, with much milder wording. This may be because Xi Jinping fears that collective silence, silent resistance, and questioning of procedural illegality among senior party, government, and military figures following Zhang Youxia's arrest could continue to deteriorate. Unstable military morale and turbulent situation have led to phenomena in Xi's own 31st Group Army, where officers at regiment level and below are successively requesting retirement. Now, all young officers in the CCP military fear being promoted. The faster the promotion, the harder the fall, and the quicker the death. This is the stark reality they witness. A real name report letter accusing Xi Jinping has shockingly appeared on the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection website. When the tree wishes to stand still, but the wind will not cease, has the counterattack from both inside and outside the system begun. On January 29th, on the overseas social platform X, a netizen claiming to be a former CCP official, Lu Deputy Director, publicly stated that he has filed a real name report against Xi Jinping with the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection and Supervision. Yes, you heard correctly. On the CCDI official website, real name entry of person reported, Xi Jinping. According to the screenshot he made public, the reporting platform is the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection Party Style and Government Style Supervision Reporting Platform. The title reads, Trampling on the Party Constitution and State Laws, Repeated Failures in Personnel Appointments. The content directly accuses Xi Jinping of barbarically trampling on the party constitution and regulations, repeatedly appointing 11 corrupt individuals to control the state and military, and specifically names the sudden abduction of Zhang Youxia as violating legal procedures. Crucially, the page displays submission successful. Lu Deputy Director also said the report has been accepted, with the system providing a query number. He publicly stated, if the CCDI replies, it means China still has hope. If no reply, the common people are doomed. This statement itself carries a strong sense of despair. According to his self-introduction, he is a senior agronomist, former Chinese official, and Christian who offended leaders due to straightforward integrity, facing 3 disciplinary investigations and 2 judicial filings, even threatened with subversion of state power. He left China in January 2023 and was filed by State Security for subversion of state power in June of the same year. He currently resides in the United States. In other words, this is not an ordinary netizen, but someone who was once within the system. Even more intriguing is that this is not the first case. In August 2024, a post-90s Chinese student, Wang Miaosin, also filed a real-name report against Xi Jinping on the CCDI website and publicly initiated a vote to overthrow the CCP. His listed reasons were very clear. During the pandemic, Xi Jinping claimed personal command and personal deployment, so he should personally take responsibility. He mentioned three matters. First, reprimanding Li Wenliang, leading to early suppression of pandemic information. Second, the dynamic zero-COVID policy, with lockdowns causing deaths from food shortages, delayed medical treatment, and other secondary disasters. Third, suppression of the white paper movement, with large-scale arrests and imprisonment of students seriously abusing public power. He openly demanded expulsion of Xi Jinping from the party and revocation of all his positions. What level of risk does this represent under the CCP system? Wang Miaosin also reviewed the CCP's century-long history in his blog, from the 3 anti and 5 anti campaigns, the Great Leap Forward, the Cultural Revolution, June 4th, suppression of Falun Gong, persecution of 709 lawyers, Xinjiang concentration camps, to dynamic zero-COVID. He called on the Chinese people, it's time to stand up. And recently, the phrase, General Secretary, step down, appeared in a real-name message on the State Council website. Kong Lingyu from Shenzhen, father of the well-known internet celebrity Squeaky King, Prison A, submitted a message in the Suggestions and Proposals section with the unequivocal title, General Secretary, step down. The report content explicitly pointed out that Xi Jinping has made life unbearable for ordinary people and harshly criticized. Hasn't Xi Jinping been emperor for over 20 years? Let him step down quickly. Our whole family has been tormented by him to the point where we can hardly go on. The page likewise displayed submission successful. The question arises, are these messages truly accepted normally by the system? Or are they technical glitches? Or quietly deleted? To date, there has been no official response from the CCP. But what truly merits consideration is not the technical aspect, but the psychological one. In a highly centralized, strongly stabilized regime, real-name reports against the top leader have emerged successively. This means fear is declining while anger is rising, especially against the backdrop of successive falls of senior military leaders, immense downward economic pressure, and intensifying livelihood difficulties. More and more people are beginning to speak out publicly. Of course, some question, how long can such messages remain public? Others say, only when the CCP falls will the problems be solved. These voices, regardless of stance, reveal a consensus. The Chinese people have lost trust in the CCP's one-party dictatorship. When people inside and outside the system begin openly questioning the supreme power, this itself is a declaration. When more and more people are willing to risk saying the 3 words, step down, the defensive line of this regime is no longer impregnable. The CCP has always emphasized that political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. But today's question is, if the gun barrel itself is shaking, how much foundation remains for the regime's stability? Power can be highly concentrated, but hearts cannot be controlled forever. Welcome to leave your thoughts in the comment section. See you next time.